what you're saying and what you're doing, does this resonate with me? The melody, is it, am I convicted by it? For a lot of us when we're young, it's like, oh, the big houses, the Ferraris, depending on who you're talking to, the chicks with the spray on tans, the jewelry. For some people that means a lot. And definitely I've made songs that 100% would check that box. But more importantly, what's always been important to me, man, is the music.
It's already noon, long after the sunrise. Your phone alarm isn't a soothing melody, it's a default iPhone marimba, because the lo-fi chill wave beat you once programmed to wake you up now sets off anxiety attacks. You silence the alarm, roll out of bed, and step on a pair of battered headphones that you were too tired to hang up last night. The ear pads have peeled, exposing foam that flakes like dandruff. But you keep them anyway. A producer without cans is a carpenter without a hammer. First stop, the coffee shop. You work here because it's the only one that lets you snag the late afternoon hours for studio time. In reality, studio is a 10-year-old laptop balanced on a thrift store desk and 2 borrowed KRK monitors that hiss like static ghosts whenever the fridge compressor kicks on. At the shop, customers mumble drink orders that sound like spell incantations, quad shot, half sweet, extra foam, and you pull espresso while counting down tips like BPMs. Every hiss of steam reminds you of white noise you forgot to EQ out of a client track. Your manager thinks your sleep-deprived eyes mean you party too hard. If only. Between lattes, you sneak glances at your phone, email inbox, 237 unread messages, none of them fresh inquiries. You refresh Instagram DMs hoping an indie rapper has replied to your pitch. No dice. Instead, a notification tags you in a story, some kid rapping over a loop suspiciously similar to the one you posted last week. You check the waveform, identical chop, same vinyl crackle. He didn't even bother to change key. Your comment, "Hey producer here, credit?" disappears in a flood of fire emoji and "bros killing it" replies.
Laptop open, Ableton loading, fans whirring like a drone strike. You check a shared Google sheet titled Leads and Collabs. The cells are mostly red. Rejected, ghosted, circle back next quarter. One row glows yellow. A mid-tier pop artist's A&R asked for something summer but moody. Billy meets Bad Bunny, 100 BPM, Latin drums but not too Latin. You spent 3 nights crafting that beat. No reply yet. The longer they wait, the lower your chances. They're probably shopping dozens of producers at once, dangling exposure like a carrot on a string. You open the beat, tweak hi-hats, automate reverb tails because you can't not. Perfectionism in music production is like quicksand. The harder you struggle, the deeper you sink. Halfway through adjusting sidechain compression, your email pings, heart jumps, subject line, opener needed tonight. It's a local dive bar you played once for drink tickets. The headliner canceled, they'll pay $50 for a 20-minute DJ set of vibey originals. $50 is groceries, so you say yes, even though the gig means bouncing stems to Serato instead of finishing the A&R track. Before exporting, you check Splice for that one vocal chop. Subscription renews tomorrow, your bank card is maxed. You roll the dice. Overdraft beats silence. Download fails halfway. Your Wi-Fi throttles when the laundromat's dryers are running. You tether to your phone, burning data like lighter fluid. Track exports 2 minutes before you have to bus across town. The venue smells of stale IPA and last night's regrets. Soundcheck reveals one monitor missing, the other blown. The promoter shrugs, says, "Just make it work, man." You plug in anyway, pray the house system doesn't clip into oblivion, and start the set to an audience of 6. 2 bartenders, 3 friends of the opener, and a passed-out skateboarder. Some dude yells, "Play something we know." He throws a request slip onto your controller. It reads, "Any Drake remix. Exposure, bro." You finish, unplug, collect 50 damp dollars, and leave before the headliner, a SoundCloud emo rapper, accuses you of stealing his vibe. Back home after midnight, you upload the set video to socials anyway. You need content. Algorithms reward consistency, not quality. You caption it with a fire emoji and tag #producerlife. 3 likes. Your cousin, your old roommate, and a bot selling crypto courses. You scroll past a post from a college classmate who just landed a placement on a platinum album. He captioned it, "Humble grind pays off." You envy his humility. 3 hours of sleep later, you're back at the coffee bar, hands shaking milk pitchers harder than usual. A coworker asks if you got any cool gigs coming up. You mumble something about working with a pop artist. He nods, impressed, unaware that working with currently means sending emails into a void. He asks if you ever thought about The Voice. You force a laugh. On break, you check email again. A&R finally responded. "We love the vibe, but decided to go another direction.
They add a smiley face. You stare blankly, swipe archive. Motivation nosedives, but the next espresso pull can't wait. As you tamp, you replay old lectures. The best producers grind through rejection. Grind, ironic word choice. After the shift, you drag home, open Ableton to finish a custom beat for a SoundCloud singer who promised $150 when I get paid Friday. It's Wednesday. You add 808 slides, send a rough mix, request 50% upfront. She replies with prayer hands emoji and a screenshot of her Cash App pending. That's code for never. You know it, but you finish the track anyway because leaving art half-baked feels worse than not getting paid. Meanwhile, your electric bill sits unpaid on the desk, the red stamp glaring like clipping LEDs. Evening. You attend a networking mixer at a glitzy lounge, free for industry folks. You print business cards on your inkjet, edges ragged. Inside, everyone seems to know everyone. You hover near the bar nursing the cheapest soda. A pop producer with 2 million monthly Spotify listeners brags about his latest sync deal. You finally introduce yourself, he glances at your card, pockets it without looking, checks his Apple Watch and moves on. Another person, an A&R assistant, asks about your recent cuts. You mumble about indie placements, she nods politely, scans the room for bigger fish. Networking ends with a new stack of cards in your pocket, people you'll email tomorrow who will never reply. You subway home, ears ringing from club bass, mind buzzing with imposter syndrome. Your phone buzzes. The YouTuber tagged you. In the comments, not the video description, spelled your name wrong. Shout out to @RuckRibbon for the beat. Likes spike, but your handle's misspelled, so traffic flows to a random guitarist. You DM her, no response. Days later, an email lands from an indie film director. Heard your corporate queue in a stock library. Wants a custom score. Budget? Shoestring. You ask how many minutes. She says 90. You laugh, then realize she's serious. You counter with a reasonable quote. She ghosts. Eventually you spot the film trailer on Vimeo. They used your library queue as the main theme, retitled Original Music by the Director's Best Friend. You roll shoulders, file another uncredited usage. Lawyers cost more than the queue's potential royalties, assuming the library even pursues it. Mid-month, the A&R assistant from the mixer surprises you. An urgent brief for a major artist. Needs a beat tonight. Budget 5 figures if selected. You drop coffee, sprint home, and craft the hardest, slickest track of your life. Triple-layered drums, orchestral stabs, eerie leads, pristine mix. You send it with trembling fingers. 2 days silence. Then, the team went with a different vibe, but we'll keep you in mind. You thank them, toss phone, scream into pillow. Bruised ego aside, you post the beat to BeatStars. 24 hours later, a random rapper leases it for $30. At this rate, recouping plugins costs requires selling it 100 times. You wonder if the major artist will drop a song suspiciously similar months down the line. You'll never know. The industry's opaque mirror reflects nothing back.
Then, the smallest burst of sunbeam, BMI email. One of your ubiquitous corporate cues placed in a daytime infomercial. Royalty estimate $17.05. Net payable next quarter. You allow yourself a grin. It lasts until the next matcha order. Night again. You produce a drill beat for a local rapper with the street rep. He swears he'll shout you out. You meet in his cousin's makeshift booth, blankets on walls, SM58 mic, gun tucked beneath stool. He records one take, leaves. Weeks later, the track drops on Spotify, credits list, production, question marks. Comments, ask who laced the beat, he replies with shrug emoji. Your DMs blow up with fans searching for you, except they can't find you because no producer tag. You text him, but no response. You chalk it to experience, send a DMCA, too much hassle. You move on. And then, maybe out of spite, you reopen the session. Because music is the one language that still answers back. Because when kick punches, snare snaps, and bass growls, you remember being 13, with cracked Fruity Loops, building loops nobody heard, pure, unfiltered joy. Industry can steal credits, clients can underpay, algorithms can bury you, but they can't mute that initial spark. If anyone's still listening to our beats, smash that like button and subscribe to the Cinema Roller YouTube channel for more unfiltered truths the highlight reels skip. Because maybe tomorrow the industry gods will ignore your emails again. Maybe another artist will forget your tag. And maybe you'll still be slinging cappuccinos at dawn, but tonight, right now, the kick hits, the bass hums, and that's enough to keep you in the game until the next alarm screams you awake. See you in the next video.